Hey, it's Kristen and let's get renovating. I have been on such a kick of renovating these apartments, so today we're actually over in the Spice District in San Myshuno renovating 18 Culpepper house. So I have already uploaded this also into the gallery, so if you guys do want to put this in your game, go to my username KrystinMyrieXo in the gallery and you guys will be able to find it there. So I can't remember what I think it's just the 18 Culpepper house, but it's in the most recent. Or I can't remember if I titled it Cozy Culpepper. It had a ring to it. But also, as you guys know, I have been in such a colorful building type of mood lately over like the last couple of weeks. Usually I used to do like a lot of the neutrals, but lately I have just been falling in love with using as many different pastel colors as possible. And the strawberry wallpaper, I will come back and use that in this build because yeah, it's cute paired with the basic. That's actually one of the base game tiles that's over in the kitchen, the subway tile. Usually I do use the white, but I felt like the pink just worked in here. So this apartment definitely has the family lived in, has a little bit of clutter, but not too much clutter, if you know what I mean. So it definitely looks lived in, but picked up. It's like perfectly in the middle. So I didn't want this to be super messy, too much clutter, because I want you guys to download this and be able to move your Sims in and clutter it up as you play. Whether it's like different skill activities, but of course I have all of the ones you need. There is the computer, there's a TV in here. I can't remember if I did end up putting a stereo later, but oh my gosh, yes. The last two builds in a row, I've used all of those pictures because I'm obsessed with them. I kind of want to even attempt to paint them on my own. Like I want to paint them to put in my office. I think those would be so cute. Also, having all of the chairs that are like a different chair on each table, I used to do that all the time years ago, and I'm kind of like getting back into that, especially with this apartment. So this does have the open concept type of like kitchen, living room, and dining room all together. And it's actually pretty spacious. Like it's the entire end of this apartment. So I do come back in and we have like double the kitchen space because over by the windows, you'll see later I add in like a bunch more counter space so that we could have it for like a little coffee bar. I thought it was like really cute. And it even has some space if you want to have your sim like work on some gardening and stuff. There's like the little area that you'll see, but yeah, so I wanted to put in a bunch of different, of course this is the kitchen, so we needed to have some of them like little plushies up on the shelf, the condiments on the table, the used cup. So I think I do come back in and move the shelf around a little bit. Like I did get rid of the olives, or I think those are olives. I would love to see more of that type of clutter. That little jar, like I use that all the time. It's like one of my favorites. I did end up finding though some clutter that I never noticed that we had, that you'll see on the other section of the kitchen later. It's like little pasta Tupperware containers, but oh my gosh, we need more candles. I do use these candles so much. I am like obsessed with them right now. And I currently, so as I was building this, I started to get into the Hunting Wives. I haven't been able to watch it because I am in Canada and I have like pretty much every freaking streaming service that you can think of. But I feel like whenever something new comes out or gets popular or is good, it's gotta be on a streaming service that I don't have. So I was able to get onto the States with like a VPN, so I can finally watch The Hunting Wives, and I'm like already obsessed. I'm currently on episode 2. Have you guys seen that? Let me know if you've watched Hunting Wives, and what other series would you guys recommend? Because every time I get into these, like, I can't, of course, watch anything if I'm like recording some of my series or, you know, gameplay where I have to talk. But when I'm sitting just building, I always have something going on, watching in the background, or a podcast that I listen to, like Kendall Ray or something, or Stephanie Sue. But I've been back into catching up on some series. I was obsessed with Dynasty on Netflix, and they just like ended that. There was like, yeah, that totally should have went on for like a couple more seasons, but I was like obsessed with that. And the startup, oh my gosh, with like the guy from the OC, Seth, he was on the startup, and they ended it, they canceled it. And I feel like every time I get into like a new series, those ones are old. Yes, it's 2025. You guys might be like, wait, weren't those out like years ago? Yeah, but I keep going back and rewatching things. Like, it's 2025 and I will even like go back and watch Dawson's Creek or something like that, like go back old school. One thing that I've never watched, I think you guys are going to be disappointed in me, because I have never watched Gilmore Girls. I have watched like a few episodes, but I never really got into it like a lot of people have. Like, I feel like everybody I talk to have watched Gilmore Girls. I know there's Rory. I can't remember what her mother's name, and they go to the cafe, but yeah, I don't know. Should I get into it again? I think it was the acting or something that threw me off, and I don't want to say that because I feel like if you're a fan of Gilmore Girls, you are a die-hard fan. That's like Dexter for me right now. That just ended last Friday. Dexter Resurrection. Guys, okay. If you have seen Dexter, like the original, and you were obsessed with it, so here's the thing. There was Dexter, and then they did a spin-off. I won't like, if you haven't seen it, I'm not gonna like give anything away, but they did a spin-off of that, and it was only like one season, maybe two. I can't exactly remember. And that one, I watched it because I was a fan of Dexter, but I didn't fall in love with the series. So like the second spin-off. Then they did another one, I think it was the original Sin, and it kind of like went back to when Dexter was a teenager, and like all of the different characters, Batista, all of them, when they were teenagers. I love that one. Like, they did such a good job. It was canceled, and I think it was canceled because Dexter Resurrection, which is right now it's running every Friday, although it's 10 episodes and it ended last Friday. I highly recommend it because it's almost just like a continuation of Dexter, the original Dexter. It doesn't feel like it's a spinoff. Like, they freaking picked back up on that, just like nothing happened. Yeah, I'm obsessed with it. Let me know if you guys seen any of those, and especially Dexter, and what you think. Let me know in the comments because there is so much to talk about. I won't talk about it too much because if you've never seen it, you're like, okay, who cares? And you might not even be into shows like that, but yeah. So very far from the difference of this cutesy pastel apartment. But yeah, so this actually, I was trying to figure out because I definitely knew that I wanted to have the kitchen and living room, all of that over on the end, because it did have that little like bump out area. That's where like the living room is. I knew that I wanted to have it there, and it was like the perfect space. So I ended up putting the 2 bedrooms up on this end. I feel like this apartment is more than enough space if you wanted to do 100 baby, because honestly, if you broke down those bedrooms, like, I do feel like the bedrooms are quite big. I even was tempted towards the end to make the hallway a little bit smaller and put in like a kids or a toddler's room, but I feel like there's definitely a lot of extra space in this apartment, especially in that giant hallway that takes you around to get into the kitchen and living room. But I think that would be a good spot to put like your hobby stuff, like if you're a painter or a gardener. And for some reason I kept clicking. Every time I went to go save this, for some reason I clicked on go to the main menu. I don't know why I was doing that. But yeah. Oh my gosh, the wallpaper that's on the back with the stars or the moons. I'm like obsessed with that. I kind of wish there was a couple more colors because I did use that wallpaper in the 100 baby home. That's the children's room. I used like the dark, I think it was the black one with gold. And then there also is that ivory one that you guys see me just use with like ivory and gold or creamy like vanilla color. I love that one. So I kind of wish that they had a few more color options. They do have a bunch. I'll probably use it in the other colors, but Yeah, and then we have our, you could definitely use this for either kid or teen. So I tried to give like each side their own personality, their own mirror with their own pictures, and then their own little clutter. So this room does end up having, like, I put in the desk with computer because I feel like every house definitely needs to have that computer if you need to work on it, do homework, study, or even like order stuff for your home. So I did end up putting one in the end. And I personally have one of the like stand-up fans on the end of my bed. So I do end up putting it at the end of the yellow bed. So I was like, you know what? Maybe she just wants to like cool down and have a fan at the end of her bed. I don't know, is it just me? Although sometimes I wake up really stuffed up in like a sore throat, and I think it's definitely from the fan blasting in my face. So I probably should put it on the side of my bed to blow across instead of below to blow up, but yeah, I don't know. So I'm just like adding in a little bit of the clutter, making sure that it's still a functional apartment. And as you guys can see, like the bedroom in here, the kids' room is definitely cluttered, but I did leave some space over in the master bedroom in case like you wanted to make this a family. There was still space to add in like bassinets. I do come back in and add in like more bookshelves over in the living room as well, because I want to make sure there is a place for all of the skills, a place to study. And yeah, there's still, even if you needed to put something for your apartment for skills here, you could definitely move the bookshelf even out into the hallway. But again, this is in the gallery. Use my username, same as my channel, KrystinMyrieXo. Make sure that you are using move objects before placing, and you will need to replace all of the wall sections where the doors are, and then you can just place this as a room. So make sure you're subscribed, have notifications on, and I'll see you here in my next video.